Hi, my name is Marianne. Welcome to my first YouTube video. This is me setting up my book journal for 2025. I know it's a little late. I have learned how to film and edit a video for this, so it was a process learning how to do this, but I had so much fun learning how to do this and setting up this journal that I really wanted to share it with everybody. So I hope you really like my video, and if you would like to follow or like or subscribe or anything like that, I will definitely leave as much information as I can in the description box. I'm still learning how to do everything, but definitely leave a comment if you'd like to see anything or needing more details. Thank you. So here I am just taking you through setting up my cover page for my 2025 reading journal. I have never, like I said in the intro, I've never done anything like this before, so this voiceover will also be brand new to me. I am hoping that I will be able to give you the best information that you would like to have here, but basically I started creating this and then lost some of the video files. So what you're seeing is kind of already a little bit started into the process. So what you missed basically is one layer of watercolor down, and that's it. I just did a layer of watercolor to lay down all the colors so that I wouldn't have to color everything in with my markers, and then everything else will just be colored in with my Tombow dual brush pens. I'm going in with several colors. To the left, you will see that I just made a little Tombow swatch page, and I will be referring to that several times just to make sure that I get exactly the color I want. So I am working on making the cover page right now, like I said, and the cover that I am currently making is inspired by a piece of art that I saw on Instagram. The artist is bookbabedesigns.shop. She has made like what looks like an open book, and the open book with the spine facing out is the entrance to like a store. And so I kind of took that, I made it my own a little bit, and like altered it. I just kind of took the concept of it and kind of made it my own, but I really wanted to use that concept. I loved the idea, but credit where credit's due. She definitely is the one who came up with that idea. But I definitely wanted to make this more cute. In the past year, in my 2024 reading journal, I've only ever done reading journaling for 1 year before, and it wasn't even for a full year. I started in like April. So in my past year setup, I did a lot of like academia vibes, I guess you would call it. And I loved it, but I did definitely want to go a different way this year because I am not the kind of person that can do the same thing twice in a row. The same thing with my bullet journal. I have a bullet journal that I've kept for almost 6 years now. I cannot do a similar theme 2 months in a row. I have to go wildly different for each theme. So when I was setting this up, I kind of, even without realizing it, I made it a lot more cutesy than I normally make things. This is apparent, I think, in the little red striped awning. I think the red striped awning is adorable. There's a lot of potted plants, which is definitely very me. There's also a sign over the awning. It says library drive-through, and it has like a little motif, a flower motif above it. But the whole thing is a lot of warm tones, and I wanted there to be a lot of terracottas, a lot of warm tones all throughout this setup, but especially bringing that onto the cover page because the cover page to me is going to be indicative of what to expect throughout the setup pages of the journal. I'm sorry also about my hair popping in through. You will see my hair in the back of my head throughout the setup. I apologize about that. Like I said before, unfortunately, this is my first video. I did not realize that I would have to have my hair up while I was videoing, and I'm figuring stuff out as I go, you guys. So a lot of this footage is very sped up. I spent quite a long time making this cover page, but to be honest with you, it didn't feel like a long time to me. I tend to put a lot of detail into things like this because this is my hobby, but this is my passion. this is something I'd like to spend time on. So it was not, to me, it's not too much time, but to some people it might be a lot. Here's my head again. Okay. Sorry about that. But what I'm trying to say is, though, that whenever I finally got like my first rough edit done of this video, I had over 3 hours of footage. So a lot is gonna be sped up, including, well, I guess especially this cover page, because good gracious, there was a lot of this that was just repetitive fine details, and I kind of feel like once you can basically tell what I'm doing here. It's pretty self-explanatory. I did actually quite like this part, though. I took a slightly darker yellowy orange color. It's slightly darker than the base watercolor. And I used the Tombow to make some brick lines and the lines in the book. And that makes it kind of look more like the exterior of a shop. Because I think the shape of the overall thing makes it obvious that it's a book. So I wanted to give it more of that shop entrance kind of look. I also have 2025 written in a very large number font in the upper right hand corner, like it's on like a sign or something on the side of the shop. I apologize if you can hear my cat. By the way, she is a very loud cat, and to be honest with you, I don't think that there's a time I could do this without her making the noises, so we're just going to power through. So underneath that, I have a little space for myself to write out reading journal, and then I have a stack of books and an arrow pointing to the right, because that is the direction we will go for the rest of the setup. It just made sense to me. Right now I'm working on making a little lantern. I just kind of looked on Pinterest for a picture of like a basic lantern shape to use as a reference image for this. And all of this is just, I made it out in pencil first. Oh goodness, there's a big shot on my head again. In case you were wondering what the back of my head looks like. So I just made all of this in pencil, really detailed first, and then I went ahead and painted it and inked it and everything. So basically now is just the finishing touches. We're just making sure that everything has all the little bits and bobs that I want it to have, to make sure that it looks finished, and I guess so that it looks completed in a nice clean way. I don't want it to look scrappy or like a doodle. I want it to look like, oh, she spent some time on this, you know, because I mean, I did. It's not like I ever think of myself as a great artist by any means, but I want to be able to look at it and know what you're looking at. So now I'm going in with my Sharpie pen. This is the Sharpie felt tip pen in fine. This is my favorite pen. I own probably 50 of these pens just as backups. I only use this pen. This is the only pen I use. Unless I'm doing like a brush pen or something, this is the pen I'm using. I will put it also in the description, but this is my pen. I love it. It is a felt tip pen, but it does not bleed through a page, even a thin page. It does not smear. Like, you can make a mark and then immediately run over it with your finger and it will not smear. It dries down immediately. It doesn't bleed. I love this pen. So, not obviously, it's my first YouTube video. It's not sponsored. I just love it. So we're coloring in this lantern. And this is kind of where I feel like I've made my first kind of mistake here. Is I colored it in black and then I went back in with a brighter yellow. And like, anybody's going to tell you that's not a good idea. The yellow's going to smear the black. Like, everybody knows that. And guess what? That happened. But, I mean, mistakes happen, and that's okay. So we move on. The smearing wasn't so big that I felt like it was the first thing that your eye sees. It's just something that I'm not happy with, basically. Then I went in with my pen again and drew the lines on the top that look like book pages. I got a little bit, I was tired of drawing by this point, so I got a little bit lazy with my lines here. And then finally we're done with the cover page, except for to get out my letter stamps. I got out my letter stamps and I stamped out the word reading journal, so that, I mean, I know it's a reading journal, but I don't know, I just thought it'd be nice to label it again. Also, I will say this is in the same journal, the same book as my 2024 reading journal. I don't read that many books that I feel like I need a ton of space for each journal. And I did not read so many books in 2024 from April to December that I needed an entire notebook. In fact, I used only the very first part of the notebook. And I am confident that 2025 will not use up so much space that I will have run out of room. So I just went ahead and stuck 2025 after 2024. And this is a Buki notebooks. Buki? It's B-U-K-E. I don't know how to pronounce that. But it's Buki notebooks. It's the Monstera journal. Anyway, so here I am using an X-Acto knife to cut out a little door shape so that it looks like the door to the entrance. Like, it's like the door you walk through when you go into the shop. And afterward, whenever you see the flip through, you'll see that the page behind it is going to be a bunch of books. So whenever you go, like, whenever you look through the door, you'll just see a bunch of books through the door. You'll be like, oh, you know, it's a bookshop. And then inside the books is a bookshop. It was the idea anyway. So we've moved on already. This next page is a bookcase full of books. I really liked the idea of making this bookcase more mid-century modern, kind of space age. I love that design style. So this one is definitely more along those lines. This is, again, almost entirely just done with Tombow markers, and then I will go in with my Sharpie pen again. I'm not the best at making straight lines, as we can see here, but I just kind of, I don't know, I did my best and we're winging it, and it kind of turns out how it turns out, I guess. I don't know. So basically here, I am just doing my best to make it look like a stacked bookshelf. There's like 3 bookshelves, like 3 little cubbies stacked on top of each other, and then like 1 shelf on top. I went ahead and skipped past me drawing all the books on the shelves because I felt like that took up a lot of time, and also it's a little bit boring to watch. And now we're on to the hand lettering. I am lettering the words books read in 2025 on top of the page as a header for the page. I'm using my Writech pens for this. I love my Writech pens for lettering. They are amazing. And obviously my lettering is also sped up because that is a lot faster than I think I should be lettering. I'm not that good that I can letter that fast. Now I'm moving over to my quote page, which is on the left page. It says, "Reading gives us some place to go when we have to stay where we are," by Mason Cooley. I'm doing these with Tombows. And the first word, the word reading, I did in a calligraphy style. And then I just give the rest in like a kind of a serif style, I guess. I don't really know what to call it. It's just kind of a font I do sometimes. And then the last little thing is to color in the few things on the bookshelf and add in a couple decorations on my quote page. I just added in a washi tape from the Washitape Shop and a little sticker from Artimationco on Etsy. And so that is these pages done. We're moving on to the next pages now. I have seen so many people do a DNF graveyard. I love this idea. I love the idea of doing a DNF graveyard. I've never done anything like that before. I've never even tracked my DNFs. So I just did, again, just a base color. I just went in with some green watercolor and we laid down a layer and let it dry. And now I'm using a Tombow, and then I think I'm using my, I think I'm actually using my Kuretakezig Cocoiro pen there for some lettering, just to mark it as my DNF graveyard. I got this big old sticker though, which I think is very interesting sticker. This is from Wiseminervastudio on Etsy, and I ordered it thinking that it would be perfect for my to be read list, my TBR list. But after I ordered it, I realized the books are kind of smaller on the page, so than I wanted them to be. So I went ahead and cut out the actual books on the page, and I just will like draw in my own books. So that's what I did here. And then I went ahead and lettered on the top there. I lettered books I can't wait to read. Because I have found that this term, like TBR or to be read, it feels like a chore list. It feels like to be read, like I gotta do this, to be done, you know? And these are books I can't wait to read. Books I'm really excited to read. And in doing this, I also really edited my TBR. My TBR at the end of 2024 was full. And it was full of books where I'm like, oh yeah, I do gotta read that. That's not the way I should feel about it, my TBR. Absolutely not. So I went through it and I was like, okay, well then let's get rid of those ones. So I absolutely did, and I edited it down to like just a couple actually. So now I'm just decorating that around the little bookcase sticker. I add a couple of pieces of washi tape here from Nico Washi Tape on Etsy, and then I add a whole bunch of stickers. I have, most of them are going to be from my Stickii Club, my like Stickii subscription. A couple of them are from Paperaicashop. Like I said, I'll try and put everything I can in the description box. I'm just not super familiar with how things work, so I will link them if I can. If I cannot link them, I will at least put them like in the description box that is what I used. So then I just go ahead and I trim off the washi tape there, and this is my DNF graveyard and my to be read list. So next up we have our book bingo. This one I have mixed feelings about. So it starts out pretty good. It's a 5x5, and I like the colors that I picked, and I like the prompts that I picked. But there's a couple things I don't love about this spread. Let's start with just the basics though here. So I went ahead and made my 5x5 grid with my Sharpie pen, and then I went ahead and started making the outline of the lettering up top. It just says book bingo up top, and I did a kind of lettering I haven't done in a very long time. I feel like this is a very like Pinterest kind of lettering. I have not done something like this in a very long time. It's cute though. I just haven't done it. And then I used 3 Tombows for the color scheme for this page here. And I think that one of the things that I don't like as much about this spread is that I used all 3 colors in this part of the lettering here. So where it says book, I used all 3 colors. And I don't think that it looks as good that I did that. I think if I had left it to the reddish color and the kind of peachy orange color that I'm using now, and then left like a little gap of white, or just filled them in with those colors, I think that would have looked great. Like where it is right now, I like it. Now I'm adding that mustardy color, and I don't like it as much. It's a little thing, like a lot of people wouldn't have even noticed, you know what I mean? But it's like, I spend so much time with my journals, and I spend so much time thinking about things and planning things, so that when something happens where I'm not 100% satisfied, I'm like, wait, I'm not 100% satisfied with this, but I've spent so much time, you know what I mean? This is a very sped up part where I just mark all of my bingo slots with the different colors. Just like, I didn't want to leave them all blank. I just felt like that wouldn't be enough color. So I just filled them all in with colors and then marked down what the prompts I want for them are. If you guys want to see like what all the prompts are, I also have an Instagram. My Instagram is the same as my YouTube handle. It's just bullet journaling by Marianne with underscores between each word. But I have a close-up shot of my book bingo in my Instagram. If you have any, like, if you're curious as to what each of the prompts are or anything like that, if you can't see it clearly. So I just write out each one here. Now I have added the words pick just one, because I want to make sure that I only pick one for every book that I read, if it applies to a book that I read. And now I'm adding a little strip of washi tape from, it's a piece of washi tape I got from Wish, I think, actually, back in the day. And now I'm adding some washi tape from Gingersjw. I love Gingersjw. And then I got some Karen.illustrator book stickers that I added on there. Although I'm kind of replacing this washi tape because I didn't like exactly the placement, but we're adding that in, and then that's the book bingo page done. We're going in with watercolors again. This is just going to be a quote page. I'm not that good at drawing trees, but I felt like, all right, well, let's do our best. I'm laying down just a little bit of color, just a little bit of green, and then here in a second, just a little bit of brown to give us like a base color again, so I don't have to fill the whole thing up with markers. It just feels like it wouldn't look as good if it filled the whole thing up with markers, you know what I mean? And so then now, while that dries, I am using my letter stamps, and I'm stamping out the quote, "Each time you read a book, a tree smiles, knowing there's life after death," which I just thought was really sweet. My stamping is not the neatest, which I do kind of think is a shame. I would like to get better at stamping, because a lot of times there's smears, or the edges of the stamp get also stamped onto the page. So I think it would have looked nicer if I had been able to stamp them neater. But I can still clearly read the quote, and it still looks fine. So I just finished stamping this up, and my letter stamps are very small, so I use a pair of tweezers to pick the letters out of the set of stamps. And then here, after the watercolor is dry, so I'm just going in with several different colors of Tombows, and I'm just kind of using like a squiggly line, I guess. I'm just using like a squiggly, and I'm filling in the tree a little bit, because I don't want it to just look like a poofy cloud. I do actually want it to look like a tree. I did look at one little thing, like I had a reference image on Pinterest, so I just kind of went by my reference image, and I didn't want it to look, I don't know, it's not like I'm going for photorealistic. I just kind of, I don't know, make it look like a tree. So here we're going squiggly with my Tombows, and then here in a second I will add a couple brown parts too for the trunk and some branches. So that's my tree. I mean, I feel like looking at it now, I'm like, oh, there's a couple small things I could change, but overall I'm pretty happy with it. And I do like that I added like a little line at the bottom to show where the ground is here. And then I start working on like some little clouds, I guess. I don't know. The clouds I'm not like that thrilled with, but like they're so small, and also like they're in light blue. So it's like they're so pale that you can barely even notice them. So all in all, I'm very happy with this page. I think it's cute. I think it's charming. It's a nice quote. When I look at it, I don't see the mistakes, which is kind of my goal. Like, not that many other people see my journal, so mainly I make my journal for me when I look at it. So these are my two spreads, my book bingo and my quote page. We're moving on to my next page. So the book bingo page was all about how, like I could fill in one for each book I read. This one, though, is a little bit more fun for me, because I like to fill things in. Like that's what I like to do. I like to go through and be like, ooh, how many things can I fill in? So this is how many can I fill in? And I'm just going to fill this spread in with every prompt I can think of. Like, it took me a while to come up with this many prompts, actually. And then every time I read a book, I'm going to go through all the prompts and be like, ooh, this one and this one and this one. And just fill in with color, because I'm leaving this one black and white. So I'm going to fill it in with color every time. And then just at the end of the year, I think it'll be so interesting to see how colorful this spread is. So we're going ahead and hand lettering again. Once again, we're using those Writech sign brush pens. I love these for hand lettering. I used to use the Tombow dual brush pens or the Tombow Fudenosuke, but those ones I just don't prefer for my style of hand lettering. So these ones work super great for me. So here are all the boxes filled in, and I went ahead and lettered the title, and then we're adding some more washi tape. These washi tapes are from Mustardbeetle on Etsy. I get most of my stuff from Etsy. Absolutely adore Mustardbeetle. Like, her style is stunning. I have like a water bottle from her. I have so many washi tapes, just so much stuff from Mustardbeetle. I do also add like, I think like three little stickers from CharizzeT on Instagram is who made these stickers. They're very cute. So we go ahead and add just like a couple stickers for low color until I can start coloring these in. That page is done. Super easy. Next up is a little bit more complicated. This is going to be my book bracket page. I've never made a book bracket page before. Most of these pages I've never made before. This is kind of new to me because my setup in 2024 was so simple. Like, I'd never set up a reading journal before, so I just did a couple spreads that I thought might be a good idea, and then I just went in straight into my like reading book reviews and stuff. So a book bracket is not something I've ever done before, but I thought it might be fun. So I went ahead and set it up, and this is kind of the layout I went with. I don't know why I went with a horizontal layout for a book bracket that took up like the top third of a page. Like, I think it could have taken up a lot more of the page. I went ahead and sketched out like a little like a trophy and like a gold medal next to what would end up being my favorite book. I did not end up using those sketches. I erased them and did something else. I just didn't feel like they fit the vibe. I didn't feel like they fit the theme, that how the rest of the page ended up. So I wanted to make sure everything felt a little more cohesive. And to be honest with you, I totally failed that. I think I would have preferred to have stuck with the trophy and the like the gold medallion, because the way things ended up, I don't think it looked bad, but it does not look cohesive to the rest of the journal. But we'll get to that anyway. For now, I am just using my Tombows to make a little bit of color and then going over it with my pen and just making sure each little labeled section has is like defined by my pen a little bit. So I'm just labeling this as the favorite book of 2025 and kind of making it look a little bit like a book. And then we're going over here and marking this as my favorites. Since I had all this extra space, I thought I could mark what other favorites I had for the year of 2025. And then my camera shut off because it ran out of battery. I sincerely apologize for that. I was not paying attention. You didn't miss much. It's just me writing down the categories. So the categories are character, couple, side character, villain/antagonist, series, ending, plot twist, new author, cover, and world. So just marking down my favorites of those as they come up or at the end of the year, whichever happens. And I think that'll be a lot of fun for me to decide which are my favorites. Now I am making a collage, and this is kind of the part where I was like, it doesn't look bad, but I don't love it. It's not cohesive to the theming of the rest of the journal, which is all light colors, very light and bright, very girly and cutesy. And then this ended up being more of the dark academia vibes of my 2024 setup. So I do think that I kind of regret doing it this way. Again, like I said, I don't think it looks bad. I just don't think it looks right for the page. Also, there are parts of it that I do think I would have done differently. Like, I don't like that the collage goes so high up onto the pages. I don't like that it keeps the pages so crowded. There's just certain aspects of this that is just not my favorite. This spread of pages is what I mean. This spread of pages is not my favorite. And that's a shame because, I mean, I would like to have spreads that I just only love. But also, that's not super realistic. Especially, like, I've been journaling for a long time. Like, I know it's not realistic. You know what I mean? Anyway, so I'm just adding the last few stickers here. And then this is what my spread looks like. And overall, it's not like I hate it. You know what I mean? Like, it's all right. And then we're moving on. So the next few pages we have, I am going to be keeping track of my upcoming releases that I'm really excited for, and then a quote page. These two pages are kind of dirty looking because I had already sketched out something for these pages and then decided to move it to a different page, and so I erased it, but then it left like a bunch of marks on the page. So basically, for both of these pages, I'm going in with a decorative paper and covering the page with the paper so you can't see all the marks on the page. I am using my Notebook Therapy Junk Journaling Scrapbook Paper Kit. Love this thing. It is gorgeous. Has so many pretty types of paper on it. So I just used this book of paper for pretty much everything here. And I just used my glue tape roller and to stick down some paper. And we're working on my upcoming releases page. So I didn't really keep track of a ton of upcoming releases last year. I had like 2 or 3, maybe 3 that I was looking forward to. So I knew that I didn't need a whole lot of space for them this year. So I have these little, they look like library cards, like from back when libraries used return cards and card catalogs. And I thought that would be a cute little, a nod in a reading journal. I thought that would be cute. So they're by Top Notch Teacher Products. And I just went ahead and glued that in. I put it in kind of at an angle. And then I went ahead and used some sticker paper. I have been using sticker paper recently. I really like using it. And I'm just using a Tombow to write upcoming releases. And then I just kind of fussy cut it out and put it at the top. Also, I really like this Tombow. It's like a pretty color. It really works well for the theme, I feel like. So we just cut it out of the sticker paper and fussy cut it a little bit. I don't get too finicky with my fussy cutting. Like if it's got a little bit of a wobble to it, it's good enough for me. So we went ahead and stuck that up at the top. And then now we're reaching the point where I'm like, okay, it needs decoration. So I got out this typewriter sticker from Grabieofficial. I get the Grabie scrapbook subscription box, and I think I just got it in one of those. And then I wasn't actually sure about which other sticker. I knew I wanted at least one other sticker on here. I pulled out a couple of them. This one from CharizzeT. I liked it, but it was way too big to stick there. This one was another typewriter. That one was a typewriter from Isabova. Wasn't sure what to use here. I ended up landing on one from Artimationco on Etsy. And then we're done with that page, except to label the 2 sections. So I went back in with my Writech signed brush pen and just laid down a layer of color twice on my sticker paper, and then used my Sharpie pen to write release date and book title / author, which I don't know why I didn't fix this. Book title / author, I kind of like fudged the word title a little bit, and it just looks clunky and weird. And it would have been such an easy fix. I just laid on another layer and then write it again. I didn't do that. I don't know why I didn't do that. It's still, to this day, like while I'm doing the voiceover, it still looks like that. I just didn't fix it. And the thing is, it's not like I did this all in one sitting. It looks like I did because, I mean, it's all, you know, in one video. But I am a slow journaler. And so I did this in a couple different settings. So it's not like I was like exhausted by this point or something. Like, I just didn't do it. I don't know. It's very odd. But finally, that's that page finished, and we're moving on to the quote page. The quote page will also need a paper in the back of it. So I just went ahead and went with just a plain craft piece of paper. It doesn't have any dot grid or anything on it, just a plain craft paper. And I went ahead and cut that out with my X-Acto knife and glued that down onto the paper. I've been rounding the corners of my pages, by the way, with a little corner rounding tool. I'm really glad that I got this corner rounding tool. For a long time I used my scissors, and every single time I did that I was like, well, that just looks terrible. And I would see all the corner rounding tools, and I was, for some reason in my head, I was like, oh, those are probably expensive. They're not expensive. Like, I don't know why I thought that, but anyway, I'm glad that I got myself one for a couple of dollars, and it looks so much better. Anyway, so now I'm just using my my Kuretakezig, it's the Cocoiro Letter Brush Pen, and I am using that to hand letter. I really like this for my black hand lettering. It's a quote from Paul Sweeney. It says, "You know you've read a good book when you turn the last page and feel a little as if you have lost a friend." This quote makes me sad, to be honest. Like, when I read this quote, it's not like, oh, I love that. It's more like, oh, yeah, that's true. But, I mean, it's definitely true, and it's definitely how I feel about books. So, I wanted to still include it in my journal. Even, like, sad things can be beautiful, too, I guess. And so I wanted to make sure I included this in my journal. So I'm just finishing up my hand lettering here. I sign it as written by Paul Sweeney and put it in my journal. And then I go ahead and take another page from the Notebook Therapy book. And it's just like a cream colored page. And use the corner rounding tool. And then I use my my glue pen to go ahead and put that in. Onto my sticker paper. And we are using my Writech sign brush pens again. And we're just writing the word quotes. But then I felt like the white paper on top of the cream paper did not have enough contrast. So, I don't know. And it wasn't exactly the same shade, but it just wasn't quite enough. So I, like, see, I'm holding it up there. I don't like that. So I go back again into my book again, and I'm like, perfect. There's a pattern here. I like the pattern of the grid paper. So we use the grid paper. We just, like, again, fussy cutting is not very fussy for me. I just do, like, a very general cutout. And then we just kind of make sure that everything looks smooth, and that's good enough for me. And then I use my glue tape again to just kind of add that in. And then finally, I did think that there were some blank spots that could just use a little bit of something. So I added in some stickers. The stickers that I added in, I think they were from Stickii Club. Which I really like these stickers. I think they're quite charming, but they're also like close to the color scheme, so they're not, I don't know, untoward. Like, they're not so in your face. I think that they look really nice. So here's the two spreads done. You can get a good look at those. And now we're on to our next page. So this is the page that I had drawn out previously on the last page, on the last two spreads, and then erased. We're doing it on this page. I don't actually remember why I moved it over one page. That seems kind of silly to have done, but whatever. Whatever. So this is the Year of Goober 2025 Reading Challenge held by Jashi Koren. Jashi Koren, I absolutely adore her content. I watch almost all of her videos. And she is doing a reading challenge for this year. And I have never done a reading challenge before, but when I saw her reading challenge video, I thought, well, I guess I'm doing a reading challenge. I love the way that she's got it laid out. You should definitely go watch her video if you have any interest at all. But it's not telling you which book to read, and it's not at all like directing you to make you read a book you don't want to read. Which has always kind of been my thing of like, oh, I don't want to join a reading challenge because I'm going to have to read stuff I don't want to read or I don't have any interest in. So like, for instance, for January, you pick a flower. The flower can either be carnation or snowdrop. The meaning of carnation is deep love. The meaning of snowdrop is new beginnings. If you pick carnation or deep love, you will read a book by your favorite author. If you pick snowdrop or new beginnings, you will read a book that is new to you. And it's as simple as that. Each month, there will be 2 flowers with 2 meanings, and the 2 flowers will each have a prompt. And you can pick either of those. You can also skip one. You can pick both of them. You can kind of do whatever you want. And I really like that. So I definitely have been enjoying this. I've done each month so far and will continue to do each month as much as I can, I think, because I've really been enjoying this reading challenge. It's just mixing things up a little, but it's honestly really been enjoyable for me. So I just put in columns, I put the month column on the far left, and then a column for flowers is what you see me writing out here. Then a column for the meaning, a column for the prompt, and then on the right page, I just put book, and I will write whatever book that I write. I will write whatever book that I read for the month that follows the prompt for the month. So the premise of this reading challenge is that each flower is for the book. So at the end of the year, you'll have a full bouquet of flowers. And I really think that's such a cute idea. So at the bottom, I have a space for my bouquet. And I can see what kind of bouquet I will have at the end of the year. And I think that's really charming. Here I am just labeling a year of Goober 2025 reading challenge at the top. I don't love the way that I hand letter, that is to say brush pen numbers. I don't like the way I do brush pen numbers. I don't think that they look very good, to be honest with you. I don't know how to do them differently though, so I just kind of keep going. But I don't know. If anybody has any suggestions, let me know, because I don't think they look terrible, but that's just not, it's not the way I would want them to look, really. So that's this page done. I don't have anything else to add here. So we are moving on to the next set of pages, which is the final 2 pages in my setup. This is the page on the left, which is my tracker for keeping track of how many books I read per month. I'm going to make a mark along the bottom axis for each month of the year. And then I'm going to make a mark along each dot on the vertical axis for each number. And then, for instance, in January, I read 3 books. So for the first mark in January, I will mark it up to 3. And I will continue from there, and we will just keep track of how many books I read. Underneath that, I have a line that I will fill in at the end of the year. And I will count up however many books I read each month. And we'll see however many books I read in the year. I think I probably will read more books this year than I did last year. But that is kind of with some like asterisks. You know what I mean? I have very different circumstances. Last year I was able to read a lot more and a lot more easily. This year I have more motive. Like I want to read more, I guess, than I did last year. Last year I had so much opportunity to read. So I guess maybe things might even out a little bit, but for the most part, it'll be interesting to see how things play out. So we're just finishing up here, and I also made lines at every 5 mark, just to kind of easily be able to glance and see where the numbers are at. And now I'm just numbering the vertical axis here. So I'm putting down some stickers. These are from a couple of different sticker sheets that I got from Stickii Club. I love my Stickii Club subscription. I've had it for a while now. And these stickers all go well together. So I really just kind of kept all the stickers together and put it on these 2 pages here. This final spread is my 2025 reading wrap-up. Again, definitely did not have this page in my last one. I will say I did not keep my lines even in this, and that I would have, like, my first one is books read underneath that favorite month. And that favorite month is 2 spaces down. And then most read month is 1 space down. And the number of 10-star reads is 2 spaces down. And my number of rereads is 1 space down. And I'm like, it looks so disorganized. I wish I would have been more careful about that. But I can't go back in time and change it. That's okay. So I just know for next time that I want to be a little more organized about that. And I will say that since making this, I have actually like scooched things around a little bit and added in another line for my most read author. So I wanted to keep that in mind also, that if there's just an author I ended up loving this year, like I just keep reading all of their books, I just thought it would be a good place to write it down as well. So I'm going ahead and titling this. And again, like I said, I just don't love my brush numbering, like my brush letter numbering. It doesn't look terrible. It's just not my favorite, you know? So I'm just labeling it 2025 reading wrap up. So like I said, I'm using this same stickers, but they kind of like to jump onto the page. So I'm trying to be careful holding them. Like these on that disc kind of put itself onto the page. Only now I just kind of went with it. And then I have this quote that I learned involved. So I use this washi tape, the Washitape Shop washi tape to put that down. And then this sticker here from Dada Stickers. It's just a quote from The Wizard of Oz. It says, "You've always had the power, my dear. You just had to learn it for yourself." I thought that was really cute, so I wanted to involve that. And then that's my final page in my setup. Thank you so much, you guys. You stuck with me through the end. Oh my goodness. Here's my flip through. I apologize. I forgot to film the flip through until I had already filled in a couple of things on my setup, like the TBR list and a couple things. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please drop me a comment. Tell me what you liked. I had so much fun setting this up, and honestly, I really like the thought of like being able to share this with you guys as well. So if you would like to see more from me, please let me know. Tell me what you would like to see. Would you be interested in seeing my bullet journal? Would you be interested in seeing like book review spreads from me? If anything at all, just let me know. Thank you so much for joining me. Please like the video and subscribe if you would like to. And I will see you guys next time. Thank you so much. Bye.